Hi, and welcome to Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse Skinner, and today I'm doing my first Twitch broadcast, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm also pretty excited that I get to do some paid freelance work today on the stream, so that's pretty special. I've been wanting to stream on Twitch for a while, but I don't really have any active open source projects. I have a few, but nobody's using them. I don't have any issues to work on or anything like that. Mostly what I do is paid freelance work, so I have permission from one of my clients to actually do some of that on stream today, so that's what I'll be doing today. Okay, so let's get set up here. Okay, so I have some assets here, some SVG files, basically, that I'm going to be looking at and trying to turn them into, well, let me show you, it'll be easier. So I'm going to open up the folder I'll be working in here. Coin. Ooh, there it is. And so let me show you here. So I'm working on these coins. So what I'm actually working on, it's going to be a new cryptocurrency based on the Ethereum, and that part I'm not really working on today. What I'm working on today is trying to mock up this coin using just HTML, JavaScript, and probably SVG. The assets I have are SVG, so I'll probably be using those. And what else? Well, we'll see. It's kind of tricky. So the challenges here are that I have an image that'll be in the center. That'll be kind of clipped out, cropped out. It could be any image. It could actually potentially be a video, animated GIF, stuff like that. Well, hopefully just those three things: images, video, animated GIF. And I also need this text. This text will be dynamic. So I need to figure out how to make text go around a circle. And that's really it. I guess the other thing is that the color behind, as you can see, can be different. So all these parts are going to be dynamic, and I'm going to be trying to figure out the best way to build this so that it's, works in all browsers. It's flexible, simple. And I'm not really sure totally how I'm going to do it, but you can watch my progress as I go. So the assets I have here, I have 2 SVG files. I should open them up in a browser. Let me figure out how to do that. I guess I need the file name here. So yeah, so the first one is just basically this. It's a circle. And I think it's a gradient. At least it looks like a gradient. I'm pretty sure it's a gradient. And that represents that gold in the coin. Then, let's see, the other asset I have. Let's open these up in 2 tabs here. The other asset I have is the trim. So you can see the ridges of the coin here coming around. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So what I need to do is overlay. I'm going to start by overlaying these two and see what that looks like. Next steps will be cutting that circle out, getting an image to show up behind. And yeah, so I need to build what I want to do here is create kind of a widget, a JavaScript widget for the coin that can be used anywhere. So currently we're building a whole website around this cryptocurrency, and so the coin's going to obviously play a prominent role. It's a very visual coin. That's the whole premise of it. It's a coin. It's a cryptocurrency that you can actually see. So for people who, they're very abstract until now, so this kind of makes it more tangible, virtually tangible. And so I want to kind of set it up right from the start so that there's a one way to render a coin. And as we build out different applications, you know, whatever those might be, we'll have one central authority on how to render a coin. So it's important for me that it's scalable in terms of being, that's why SVG is important, so that I don't know what size the coin will be. We might want to render it to a billboard. We might want to render it, you know, print material, different stuff like that. So it's important that it can scale to any size. So scalable vector graphics, or SVG, is a good choice for that. And what else? Well, so I want to make like a JavaScript wrapper, like a component, a widget, whatever, a library that you can call, pass it some options, and render a coin. So I kind of have to design that API, what it actually looks like, and I have to do all that stuff. So what am I going to start with? I guess I'll start by, I need to be able to see what I'm doing. So let's take a kind of test-driven development approach and start with, I'll make an HTML file. I'll make a JavaScript file. I will link them in, and I will start rendering a coin, and then slowly we can work on adding different options and that kind of stuff. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do here, I'm in a blank folder. I'm going to go there in my terminal here. Oops, got that backwards. Code ppcoin. I'm going to npm init. I probably don't have to, but I will. And I'm going to call it crypto cred coin. Version 1, fine. I'll just leave all that. Entry point, sure. Index, I don't know what I'll call it. Test, I don't know yet. I'll just leave that blank. Author, whatever. It's private or unlicensed. I do not want this to end up on npm. Despite me streaming it, it is still closed source. I mean, it's not open source, so despite you being able to see it, it's going to be, what? It says I have to be administrator to do an npm init. Why would I have to do that? Oh, I don't have permissions on this folder. Okay, I'm going to make a new folder where I can do that. Coding with Jesse. Because I'm using a user on my system that doesn't have access to my regular files, so that's fine. I'm going to make coin here. Copy the assets from the other one to coin, and then I'll work in there instead. So open folder, coding with Jesse, coin. Let's work here instead. Okay, so now I can do my npm init, whatever. Crypto cred coin. Enter, enter. I don't want the ICS license. Of course, I can just edit the package JSON, but it's that kind of weird laziness of, might as well just do it here while I'm here. Alright, there we go. So I have my package JSON, which I don't really need right away, but force I have it. I'm going to make a folder for these assets. Put them in there. This isn't working, is it? Do not ask me again. Just move it. Move that. Move that. So I also have an Adobe Illustrator file. I don't have Adobe Illustrator though, so I won't need that, but someone else might, who's working on this, possibly, who needs to re-export those SVGs, for example. And so I have my assets folder. I'm not really going to worry about that. I'll make a test folder. How about that? No, I don't want it there. I want it here. And inside there, I'm going to make a index.html. And there I just hit, I might have shocked you. I did exclamation mark and hit tab, which does an emit. Emits this, I don't know what you call it, plugin for Visual Studio Code. If I hit tab, it sets up a little HTML document for me. So that's all fine. I'm going to say crypto.cred coin demo. And in here, I'm going to render a coin. So I need, probably how I'm going to set this up is you'll pass it like a root element, and then it can render inside that element. Probably. Why I'm hesitant is that sometimes that can be a limitation if you have a library that requires that kind of thing where it needs to have like an element that it can attach to. Because I don't know, maybe you want to render it off without there being a document, for example. You want it to output something. Maybe we can get away outputting a string of HTML. Probably not. I'm also thinking down the road there might be interactions on this coin. Maybe even later it'll be built on with a WebGL and some kind of 3D coin that you can spin, stuff like that. So it might be safer for us to require that there's an element that we're attaching to, that we're rendering into, just so that we can have that flexibility later. Kind of a trade-off, but I'm going to stick with that for now. It's not that big of a trade-off, really. So what's my API look like? I guess I'm going to need to include a script of some kind. I guess that'll be the index.js for now. And then, like, actually probably how I'll be doing it is importing using Webpack, you know, I don't know how to say it, but importing this server side through an npm build process. So I'm not really sure. Right now I'm kind of doing it the old school way, where this has to put something in the global namespace that I'm accessing here. And again, I think to start, that'll be okay. We can change it later. What will that namespace be that it's exporting? That's kind of a challenge, because naming stuff is hard. How about I call it coin for now? And if that becomes a problem, we'll deal with it then. So I want to be able to say like var coin equals new coin, and pass it some options, and then maybe as a second step render it, coin.render, and then pass it like an element. I don't know. Maybe that's the best thing. We can start with that. That looks decent. If you have any other ideas of how I could do this, or you think it's great, let me know. So now I need to, obviously this isn't going to work, but let's open this up and then we can make it work. So it'll be under coding with Jesse, coin, test. There's my coin. There is nothing here. But if I inspect, I should see at least there's my coin element, my script. If I look at network, it's going to be trying to load that index and it's failing. So that's a pretty easy fix. I'll make an index.js file here. And I need to make, I guess, window.coin equals something. And then, because I have this, like, I'm going to do new coin, and then it's going to have properties. Either it's going to be a class, the way I'm designing it, or it's going to be prototypical inheritance. Class, I don't think is really 100% safe to use on the web, but I can try using it. I mean, as long as it works in Firefox. Like I said, this isn't going to be used directly in the browser. Probably. I don't know, but we'll find it. So if I do this, let's see what happens. Render is going to take an element and have a element.enter HTML. I'm just going to do this really cheesy coin. There, that's my first version 1 of coin. Is this? Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it works. Cool. So class works in my Firefox. Class, where are we at with class right now? I don't know if can I use always has classes. Yes, 6 classes. Okay, let's see usage relative. Yeah, okay, so Chrome, Chrome Android, iOS Safari, Safari, Opera, Firefox, Edge. Those are all fine. We still got Internet Explorer, can't use it. UC Browser, can't use it. Opera Mini. Oh, my heater's still. That's a little noisy, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I know for where I'm going to be using this, this will be fine. If needed, it'll go through Babel and get turned into something else. So it's cool that I can use this and it works on the web. So that's obviously an okay start, but I need to, I don't know, get these SVG graphics in there somewhere. So I'm going to create a folder for that. I know I have assets. I'm going to leave assets for these like raw assets, and then I'll make a folder images for the actual SVG. They'll be, like the SVG will be in images. And then like these things aren't going to be used to render the coin. These actually are part of the coin. So let me rename them. This is background, I guess. Gold background. Actually, what's it called right now? Just BG color, yeah. Gold background. And then this one is the texture. So I'll call it coin texture. How about that? Okay. Apologies for the wobbly camera there. It's attached to my laptop that I'm typing on. I can see it bouncing around there. Yeah, this webcam just came like half an hour before the stream started. Like half an hour before I started talking. So it's so crazy. I'm so glad I'm on Linux too. I'm so glad that it was plug and play on Linux, which is pretty rare. I'm just looking at this SVG. It's got a lot going on here, so I'm probably not going to be working directly with it. Not yet. This will just be an asset that's kind of as if it's an image, basically. So what I want to try to do now is get these two SVGs into my coin, into here, overlaid somehow, like overlapping, and then we'll start with that and try to figure out the rest. So I have gold background and coin texture SVG. So before I actually get into that, I can just put them in place here and see what that looks like. And then I can kind of, actually that's kind of silly. I'm going to want to put them in through here anyway. So this is my rendering, and then I'm going to want to create this HTML string, I guess. And I can use template strings, I think. So I'm going to have an image. Source is image. So I'm already at a tricky part. How do I reference these images when I don't have a web path to them? They're going to have to be on some CDN thing or whatever. So the coin's going to have to know where those images are. There's no getting around that. I can have like a base URL. And then I'll solve that problem later. So my base URL right now is going to be my local host. Obviously, it's not going to work long term, but it's okay right now. Maybe this will need to be an option that gets passed in. Maybe the URL to these two things are options that get passed in altogether. That might make sense. All these things I'm going to have to think about. So I'll solve that when we get to it. So I have my base, then it'll be images / coin texture is one of them. And I'm going to assume, maybe it's a bad assumption, that I can just use SVGs inside an image tag and that it's not going to be a problem, but I don't know. Gold background. I guess for old browsers that don't support SVG, this isn't going to work anyway. Let's check can I use on that. I'm kind of like, oh yeah, we're golden. Look at this. 100% coverage. Oh, what's that little red sliver? Internet Explorer 8. Sorry, guys. kind of left in the cold. Should I change my whole design to support 0.28% of users who are still using Internet Explorer 8, released in 2009? No. No, I'm not going to. We're going to use SVG. So, that's cool. Let's see how that looks. Well, I have 2 broken images. Why? If I open these in a new tab. Oh, okay, I got something wrong there. Oh, I got test in there? Oh, that's why. Test is in my base. It doesn't belong there. Yeah, let's try that again. Okay, so we got the 2 images on the page. They are too big, and they are not overlapping. So that's fine. So I need some kind of, this is where CSS is going to start coming in. So I need to use CSS to specify a size for the coin. I'm not really sure what size the coin, if it has some kind of default size. I don't know what that will be yet. But yeah, let's just do that here. So I'm going to give it a width of, I don't know, 300 pixels. Let's do height too. Then I'm just going to use inline CSS right now. So I'll just do something like style equals width pixels, height pixels. And that'll kind of contain it. Do I need to really format inline style better? I don't know. So there's my wrapper. I don't know if a different HTML element would be more appropriate for a coin than this. Also a possibility as an API kind of approach, I could kind of require that this has a width and height that I'm filling, kind of a 100% approach. Pros and cons. Con is that it might be a surprise to someone using this coin, and it might not be intuitive that that's how they specify the width and height. Other con would be, yeah, that you have to go through that step of creating a wrapper. I mean, with my API, I'm already requiring a wrapper, so that's not a huge deal, but maybe you want to render, I don't know. It might be a limitation later. So either I put the width and height here, or I put the width and height here on a wrapper. I'm not really sure. Let's just go with this way right now, and then maybe I'll make it 100% later. Let's see how that looks. No different, because yeah, you can see this blue box is my coin, but the SVG assets are larger than the box, and they don't care. So I need to tell them how big they are. Width 100%. They are, I don't know if they're square. Let's see. So that one fits in now. Let's check the actual dimensions of these. So 300 by 289.55. So it's a little wider than it is tall. And same with that. They're both 300 by 289.55. So that's fine. So the width will be whatever, and then the height will be a little bit less. So I have a little bit of room to work with these, which is fine. Basically, I only need the width then, I think. If I take that height off, let's see what it does. Then it stretches as needed, which is probably okay. So I want to get these both to be in the same place. So I need to use like absolute positioning, and I'm already not liking how much CSS there is in here, so I should probably extract it to be, you know, somewhere else. I could like have also that you need to include coin.css here. That might be okay. Maybe I'll start with that. So link rel equals style sheet, href equals let's say index.css. I don't really like the index here. Let's call that coin. And then I'll rename this to coin. I know in package.json I made a reference to the index, so I'll change that to coin too. And then so I need to make a new coin.css. Then instead of giving this a style, I still might want like a dynamic style. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it. I'm not going to want to put that width in here, but it could have a default width, right? So again, I could kind of avoid that design decision for now and just give this a class. We'll call it crypto_cred_coin. Then I don't need to say 100% here. I'll take that out. That's clean. Then in here I can go crypto_cred_coin image. They're going to be width 100%. Crypto_cred_coin itself is going to have a width of whatever, 300. I'm going to go 400 for now. There. Cool. So last step will be position absolute on the image and position relative on the container. Yep, it works. But I'll switch the order of these so that the background's in the background. Sweet. That's nice. That's really good. So they're overlapping. They look decent together. Let's have another look at this one. So this is the original mockup. The differences between the two are that this one's a little more of an oval. It's like turned slightly, whereas the new one is a perfect circle in the middle, which is probably a little bit easier for what I'll be doing. The other difference is the text. The text has a lot of variation here. There's like, it's shining and stuff, where that's kind of hard to, like really hard to do. This one is just white text with a bit of a shadow. So this, when I saw this original version, I thought the only way that we're going to be able to do that is like drawing to a canvas with some effects library, or maybe SVG with some text effects. Yeah, but with the new one, I don't really have to think about that yet. This is, I probably can get away using HTML text. The hard part will be HTML text that goes in a circle. I'm going to have to look for an example of doing that, but I'm sure with a transform, it won't be a big deal. I've done transforms where text is on its side, at an angle, stuff like that. I haven't done anything circular, but I have faith that we'll find a way to do it. Alright, so let's have a look. Where am I? Let's have a look here. So I want to draw a circle here. We'll have to work to line that up. It's not going to be right in the middle of this box. It's going to be slightly to the right. So we'll have to position that. And we'll have to figure out how big the circle is, and then how much space there is. I have a feeling I don't have to be pixel perfect right now. I'm just going to try to draw a circle. So let's try to figure out how to... I know I can do it with SVG, circle, I think clip image. How to crop an image to a circle. I want to see visuals because yeah, it probably is like this. Look how easy this would be. Clip path, circle, and then rect. The circle will be cut out from the rectangle. Here's a fiddle. Let's have a look at how that actually looks. Okay. I don't see them actually using an image, so that's what I'm questioning. Is this kind of what I want? I'm sure it's the basis of what I'll be doing, but I'm not. It's not so obvious to me. So I'm a noob to SVG too. Yeah, let me make my font size bigger. It's probably hard to read in the video. I'm also a noob to SVG. I've played with it some, and I've done a couple little projects where I've had to tinker inside the SVG to achieve an effect, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I was kind of like, going into the SVG, ripping out a bunch of code, seeing how it looks, and then that told me if the stuff I ripped out affected what I was trying to do, and I kind of went, took that kind of approach where I didn't really. It's not like I had full confidence that of what I was doing. It's not like I was writing SVG from scratch or anything. Anyway, so let's see another example. Maybe we'll find something closer. See, this is pretty cool. So they took an image and cropped it to the shape. That's pretty good. How do you do it? I don't need that shape, but my shape's a lot simpler. So again, clip path, give it an ID, and then oh, I see. We put an image in and say clip path equals that path. So I might be able to do this. I'm thinking this won't be in those two SVG files, but will be. Oh, I just got a message here in the chat. Clip masking CSS is pretty easy if you're able to use CSS. I am able to use CSS, so if that's easier, that might be a good idea. Here, I don't have the Twitch chat. I have it open on another computer, but I'm going to open it up here just so I can copy and paste that link. I think you do this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, SVG is pretty clean too, isn't it? I'm going to try to pop that out. And I'm going to hide it behind my camera so I can still see it. There we go. Thanks a lot. I drink socks. I appreciate that. I like your name too. There, my little chat hiding behind the video, so I can reference it there. Yeah, SVG is pretty clean. I still want to. I didn't get your link here, so I'm gonna type it up. CSStricks.com, clipping, masking, CSS. Let's look at both of them. Not that, I mean, SVG support's obviously pretty good. There's that IE8 segment that I kind of need to, well, I don't have to do anything with them, but it is there. Maybe CSS would be easier, but I have a feeling this CSS is actually newer than that SVG stuff. Where's my can I use? Clip path. Is it called clip path? Yeah. Clip path. CSS clip path. Oh god. I think I might have to use SVG, because even there's even only partial support with the newest Chrome, which makes me nervous. Yeah, it's a cool approach, and honestly I would prefer to just use CSS and HTML as much as I could with this, but yeah, I think we're gonna have to go the SVG path. Thankfully, it is pretty simple. I'm just gonna copy this SVG example. I'm not just gonna use it like that. I'm gonna try to put an inline SVG inside an HTML document is maybe possible. My understanding is you're better off putting it as a data URI in an image, maybe, but I'm going to try it anyway. I don't need a link, I just need the image. And the image is going to be, don't know. How about I use, what's that? There's like a dummy image online thing. Dummy image placeholder. There's some good ones out there. Lorem Pixel. Let's try that one. Actually, maybe something a little funnier would be nice. Like I just need like a picture. Could be any picture. How about I search cat? I'm sure there's one cat picture on the internet. Maybe. Let's go with this one. I'm going to steal you. Save image as. And I'll put that in assets. It's just like, oh, just call it example cat or something. Tux. Oh yeah, the Linux, the penguin. Yeah, I think like with this one, what I want is that the background gets. I need there to be a bit of a background so that we can see that circle show up. So if there's a white background, it won't work that good. I'm sure there's an image of Tux with a colorful background too, but anyway, example cat. So we're gonna be drawing a circle here. We're gonna try to cut it to a circle, and that's just gonna be a limitation of this coin. Obviously, it has to be a circle. So if your image is rectangular, you're gonna have to crop it. What can I say? So here it's gonna be, again, base, and then assets, example cat. Okay. Let's just see what this looks like. I have no idea. It might work already. Nope, not even close. So let me hide the other stuff because how do I hide it? HTML comment inside my template. Yeah, I kind of see what's happening. It's oh right, because it's that path. I forgot about in the example site that I copied that from. It's not a circle. It's a wait. It's this one. It's like a hexagon. I want just like a straight up circle. SVG circle. Clip path. Show me something I can copy and paste. Do I have to put in defs? Seems like a good place to put something like that. They don't. I don't know what G is. Don't know. Yeah, I should learn something about SVG, I guess. SVG can be like so powerful, pretty amazing. This kind of animations and stuff you can do with it. I just get so few opportunities to really work with it, you know. G is a group. Makes sense. Okay. I don't know if I need it. I guess we can experiment with that. So my clip path I'll call circle. I only need one of them. X is going to be probably, is X the top left or the center? I don't know. It's probably the center. So my width is 400. Now I'm going to need the width a little bit. I think. No, not necessarily, I guess, because I can. I think how SVG works is you kind of have a like within the SVG it has a size, and then it's kind of relative to that box, whatever it is. So if I put like 100 to 100, 100, then I think all my sizes inside, correct me if I'm wrong, are relative to that. I think this might work. But my clip path is going to be now a circle. Height 100%, width 100%. Yeah. I can make this 2 lines so we can see it on the screen. That's fine. Let's do the same here. Oh yeah, so there's that view box. That's probably kind of what I was hinting at with the scaling. So I'm going to assume I put 100 here too and 100 here too. Oh, you know what? This is what I was talking about. This is how it'll actually show up on the page. So I think if I take that out, or if I make it like percents, that's actually what I wanted to do. 100%, 100%. But I think, hey, let's just see where we are now before I start optimizing it. That's not the right one. Here we are. It actually worked. So what it did is it's stretching the image width-wise to that circle, and then it gets kind of like there's nothing to put there. So I want to stretch it to the height and not the width. So I have height 100%, width 100% on the image. Let's take out the width. That doesn't work. I don't know. So let's think about what's going on here, I guess. If I inspect it, maybe that'll give me some clues. So the image, this is the cat image itself, is this square. And it has, and that square is 100% by 100%. The clipping path is kind of correct. I actually want it smaller, right? Because I want it to be only about this big. So I can do that positioning inside this clip path, maybe. But I think I might be better off making this part still 100% and then shrinking the whole SVG to position it onto the coin. So it's almost like, it's really like its own API, or like it's its own reusable chunk. I'm doing like a circle crop thing. In theory, I could make a whole NPM library just for this. I could design it with that kind of flexibility. Yeah, let's do that. But first, I'm not going to make an NPM library over it right now. But first, let's figure out how to stretch the cat. So, what can we do? The image is already as big as it gets, and then it has this href, and maybe just the default, maybe there's like a parameter of how the image should fill, like the JPEG should fill the SVG image. So I'm going to hop over to the docs for SVG image. And see if I don't know what I'm doing. You know what, there might even be an CSS property for it. Attributes. Should I just Google it? Preserve aspect ratio. I found it. In some cases, using the viewbox attribute, it's desirable that the graphics stretch to fit non-uniformly and take up the entire viewport. That's exactly my case. So, uniform scaling. Well, I do want to preserve the aspect ratio. So that's not actually what I want, is it? Because I don't want the cat to be like stretched weird. Or do I? Let's see. What is it, false, would you say? I don't know. Where's my cat? No, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just guessing here. What would you say? Meat or slice? I think I might be on the right track. I'm just not sure. They don't have an example, so I'm kind of lost. But yeah, I don't know. I'll just Google it. I'm sure someone has used it before and can tell me what it looks like. No, that's the page I was just on. Oh, this person will explain it better to me. Thank you. Oh, okay. So there's a line and meat or slice. That's how it looks. Oh, I guess it was trying to tell me that in the docs. I'm not used to the SVG world to think that you'd have two parameters in quotes with a space. Yeah, consistency. So x max, y max, meet. Show me an actual example. No, they don't. But I can look here. X max, y max. Where are you doing that? Where is your... Oh, it's literally like that word. X min, y mid. Oh, I see. There's all these keywords for how. Yeah, okay. So let's go back to the docs. Now I think I understand a bit better. It's trying to like literally tell me these words. I thought these were just like names in a weird way. I didn't think these would actually be what you put in the box. Forced uniform scaling, yes. I do not... Wait. Uniform scaling is... I know, they're so crazy keywords, eh? Like, how are you supposed to remember all these different ones? And what are the actual differences? Like, I'm not even... It's so boring, too. Like, I'm trying to just skim through what... No, I don't know. Do I want uniform scaling? What is uniform scaling? It is desirable that uniform scaling be used for the purposes of preserving the aspect ratio. Yeah, I do want the cat to still look normal and not be all stretched, right? So min x, min y. Oh, I see. It's like, where does it cut off? So I want the both. I want it to be covered. So I think I'm gonna guess it's max max. I don't know. Let's try it. And then I want to preserve the entire view box is visible within the viewport, scaled up as much as possible, or scaled down as much as possible. I think I want slice, because I think I want it to be covered, and I'm okay. Yeah, let's just try it out. You're right, Emilios. Absolutely right. Slice. What do you think? Will it work? You're right, Emilos. G. Try it out, it works. I'm kind of surprised how well it works. I don't think... Yeah, it's shocking when stuff works. I thought the cat would be a little more over, if I remember how the cat looks. So, let's have a look. Like, okay, so it's like crop... It's like right up against the edge here. So it's kind of bad. Like, I want it more centered. I kind of want the cat cut off, because what I'd want is like a circle here. So it looks amazing. It's actually like better. It looks better based on how the image is. I don't think SVG knows enough. I don't think it's happening on purpose. I think it's actually, I'm gonna call it a bug. So we want to position it. Let me review. X mid, Y mid. Oh, that makes sense. Right. Thank you for saving me from reading through all that. Emilos. Am I saying that right? Emilos? Yes, thank you so much. That is perfect. So this is coming together pretty quickly. Yeah. MVP. It's coming together pretty quickly. I need to shrink this circle, position it, and yeah, let's do that. After that, we can try to figure out the text. Oh, great. Glad I'm saying it correctly. Shrink it. So I have it at 100%, 100%. I do not want it that big. I probably can come up with an exact percent number that I'll be happy with forever. Because, I don't know. I could probably actually do the math by measuring the assets. Oh, I'm still hiding this stuff. Yeah, looks bad. Oh, because in my CSS I call it an image, right? But it's also SVG. So let's try that. It's missing. Where did it go? Where is it? What is going on? So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to make it, because I don't want the width. I don't want the same width, right? I just want the position absolute. And actually, here I can probably position it. I do all this. Whatever the width will be and stuff, I can probably define in the CSS here. But let's see how it looks, yeah. Where is it? It says it's gone. Like it's a height of 0 for some reason. Why did that happen? All I did was change height to 70%. Actually, it's not all I changed. I gave it absolute positioning. Maybe that's why. Where are you? If I take this part out. Yeah, okay. So it's there. It's hiding. Let's use Z index to bring it up. I'll give these Z. Actually, I'll give these Z index 1, and then I'll give the photo 2. It's kind of funny. The photo is the image are the SVGs, and the SVG is the image. That's going to be confusing. It's missing again. Let's try width and height of 100%. I don't know. Nope. Still missing. Well, what if I make it relative? Yep. Now I'm going to guess, from what I just saw, that SVG's absolute positioned have problems. At least I'm having a problem with it. So that's okay, because I can have like one thing in here that's not absolute positioned, and it'll just go where, you know, I can have more than one thing that have layout in here because they're going to push each other around. But I could have just the image that's position relative and everything else absolute behind it. That's fine. So I'm gonna be happy with that. Let's change these to 70. Just guessing. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Left 15%, top 15%. Top, margin top. Getting there. I might have to like actually measure this now that I see it, because I don't know, I can tinker around. Let's just do it the stupid way. The stupid way, which isn't that stupid, is to do this and eyeball it. Is that perfect? Maybe. So I got 17 and 13. Let's compare it to our yeah. I want to measure it. I'm kind of a pixel perfectionist that way. So I'm going to open up GIMP, which is my super fancy Photoshop replacement on Linux. And I'm going to open up this coin. Oh, yeah, perfect. Assets, this one. So I want to figure out, oh, whatever. I want to figure out just, I want to measure it. So zoom in. Actually, yeah, I think I can do it here. Let's crop it out, and then I can cut out the crop. Crop. I don't even use this that much, obviously. Why didn't you crop? Make it. I don't know how to crop, but I know how to copy. Make a new document. No, I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. Why didn't crop work? Yeah, let's just zoom in and measure it. too much. Maybe it is cropped. So I'm going to delete everything, invert, and I don't want the other stuff in there. I don't know how to get rid of it. Maybe I need it. I think I don't remember it being hard to crop. Is this crop? Yep. Oh, and then I have like a button I have to click, isn't there? Auto shrink. And you know what's cool? I like have the selection. I almost had the selection I need now, but I don't. This is not the greatest tool, is it? Alright, let's try this one again. Oh, I see. This was selecting the tool so that I can, yeah. Then ask you to select the area again. This is just selecting the tool. And then you have to select what you actually want to crop. Yeah, I see now. And then there must be a way to do it. Click or press enter to crop. Ha! It's always something easier than you're thinking. Now I have a selection, and I want to kind of... Yeah, I think enter would have worked too. All I'm trying to do is like shrink it down so I can get a sense of... I guess I'm already there pretty much, aren't I? I want to invert. I want to crop it to this selection. That's what I'm trying to do. I want the circle selection. Will it just let me if I just click? No. It wants me to select it. That's not exactly right. It's good enough. So anyway, where are we at? So this is now 650, 658 by 640 kind of thing. And the smaller circle is then, yeah, it's around here. Sorry for the pain you must be going through watching me do this. So this is a 440, roughly 440. And yeah. 440 out of, where was this? 440 out of 658. 440 out of 658. So it's like exactly 2/3. It's like 66.8, 66.9. I'm going to call that 66. Like I can call it 66% just because I like the 2/3. So my 70 wasn't too bad. Yeah, I can call it 67. How about that? But then, how far over is it? Let's measure that too. You know, I cropped a little too sharp, so I'm going over a bit there. About 128 over. And that's 128 out of... Yeah, I think you're right. It's like exactly 2/3 probably. Where's my calculator? What's the number I just said? Oh, wish I could rewind. 126-ish. Divided by 658. No, I'm using Wheels. Thanks for watching the stream. I'm using Arch Linux. I used to use Ubuntu 128 it was. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna call it. Is that gonna be a big difference? 658. No, let's just call it 19%. I guess. I used to use Ubuntu. Actually, like when I started using Linux was in university. I was running Red Hat, and Red Hat was pretty fun. It's like a hobby to run Linux, honestly. Like, you have to be okay spending your Saturday trying to configure hardware or like debug some system files. So for a long time I didn't run it, and then about 2-3 years ago, well, like so 4 or 5 years ago, I installed Ubuntu. 4 or 5 years ago, I installed Ubuntu on like an entertainment system, and then used that for a while, and then I was like, I should be using Linux on my own computer. So I researched some distros, found Arch, which, if you don't know Arch Linux, it's like you're forced to be on the bleeding edge. So with Ubuntu, they like curate. Oh, LFS? I'm not familiar with that. Let's look it up. Ubuntu like curates all the packages to make sure they all LFS. Oh, Linux from scratch, cool. Yeah, it sounds like maybe more hardcore than Arch. So Arch is like, they don't, the philosophy of Arch is that if you want to update the system, you update every package on it. And ideally, all the brand new packages that came out today work with each other. And you're just like betting that that's how it is and hoping. This looks pretty cool, though. I mean, what I like about Arch is that you kind of, it is, in the sense, it's not from scratch, but it's pretty close. Like, you have to install everything almost. It comes with some stuff, but this looks like a similar philosophy, though. Alright, so let's try 19-ish%. 19.5 maybe. Where's my editor? 19.5. And the top, for good measure, top is 100 and about 100, 103, 100. So that means, I'm trying to think of what it's 100 of. It's 100 of the full width, I think, because of my width and height being the same. So it'd be like 100 divided by 658-ish. So, you know what, the 15% was a good guess, because I'm going to stick with that. Oh, cool. So LFS is a distro for learning Linux. That makes sense. So you wouldn't want it to be your main operating system, I guess. Or it'd be kind of risky to do it that way. Maybe something more for like a Raspberry Pi experimental setup. You know, I was nervous setting up Arch Linux, but this is the second computer I have it installed on, and it works great. Like, somehow. Maybe it's just my experience with Linux that if I get stuck, I can get myself out of it fast, but I haven't had any tragic system updates, thank God. Linux is almost perfect for development. Yep. Yeah, that's one thing I like. I mean, all the servers my code runs on are running Linux anyway, so it kind of makes it easier to just run local without any virtual machines. But virtual machines are definitely a nice midway if you're on Mac or Windows and you want to tinker around with Linux. That's definitely a good approach. i3 being the Intel chip or something? No, I'm probably not. Oh, cool. Okay, a tiling window manager. Yeah, I use XFCE, I think it's called. XFCE4. Yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm not tied to it. Actually, this looks, I was looking for a tiling one because, just for my stream, just to make this easier setup. I ended up making a batch script. I can show it to you. Setup. It's just like, there's this WM control program you can run, and it like can resize stuff on the fly. So I open up my programs and then I can run this. It'll make them all the right size. Anyhow, I'll check out that i3. It looks cool. So I think we're pretty good with the coin. I mean, that's with the new percents. Does that look right? It looks a little bit over, doesn't it? But there's also a bit of white space here, so that might be why. No, I guess not. I think it's a bit over though. Even with all my measurements, I think it's a little bit too far to the right. So I'm gonna try just moving it a little bit back. 18.5. What about 19 straight? No. That's just side by side of the two coins. Yes, I think I can. I have it open somewhere, don't I? Here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a good idea, actually. I don't know why I can't make it bigger. Other. That's kind of similar. Let's have a look. I think it's really good right now. You know, I can always tweak it later, but I think I'm pretty happy with how it is right now. Maybe once the text is there, it'll be more obvious if this is good or bad. But I think I'm pretty happy with it. I can, if I'm very careful, I can probably overlay it and then like tab back and forth. Then you really know. Then you really know if it's working. Watch this. That's pretty good, eh? I think I can. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think I need to improve on that. Cool, so that's awesome. And it's only been an hour, so that's cool. Next stuff will be the text, and then I think we're doing pretty good. I want to just take a step back and look at what I'm actually rendering here. So all I'm rendering is a string. It might be overkill to do this JavaScript wrapper. I'm not really sure. The text will definitely, again, be strings in here. So really, I'm probably just making an HTML template. But like I said before, I think it's worth wrapping it in something more formal, like a JavaScript object, just so later I can add interactivity without it being like, without needing a major version change. Excuse me a sec. You know what? It's been an hour. Let's take a little quick break, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then we will work on the text. So I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. Emilis, thanks for following. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everyone watching right now. I think I'm really excited that I didn't know if anyone would show up, so I'm really happy that there's people in the chat, that there's people watching. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, I hope to do more streams soon. The challenge is really the content. I'm really happy that my client's happy with me streaming some of this to show you what I'm doing for them, and hopefully I can do more of that. If not, I haven't recorded in over a year, I think, but I have a YouTube channel where I did a lot of videos, coding with Jesse. So what I did with those is more focused on, I would try out new things, like new libraries and stuff, and try to get them working, and make little short videos of that. So I might do more of that, where I'm just sort of learning and experimenting off the clock, so to speak. But I think it's really interesting, it's interesting to me. Like, I would like to watch other developers actually do work, because tutorials are a little bit too fake or like set up. It's a little too perfect often, where real work is really messy and like it's not like a right answer. You're making sacrifices here, and you're trying to make design decisions and naming stuff and all that stuff, and just dealing with design specs that are, they're non-technical, so the designer doesn't necessarily know what's possible. They're experimenting too, and you kind of have to navigate that. So yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's productive. I get to get my work done while I'm making a stream, so that's pretty awesome too. So next up, we're gonna try to get some text on this coin. I'm gonna close some of my, I might need this still. So yeah, so the tricky thing with the text is it's gonna be round, centered here, and here, round there. So this will be, I assume, 2 different elements. I'm gonna try to do it just CSS. Let's see where we get to. Maybe SVG simpler, but not for me because I don't know SVG. But then I don't know how to do circular transform either. So let's see. CSS text in circle. No. Set text on a circle. Ha! It's like exactly what I want. Identical. I don't need your information. Oh no. Just when I see this, it's like, do we need to put each letter in its own element? Is this written in the 2012? Yeah, that's probably is how you had to do it in 2012. No, I'm not going to do that. Not unless I have to. But it's nice to know that it's a possibility. Is there a newer way of doing it? CSS text, what do I want to say? Circle path. Curve text along a path. That's better. Ha! They're using SVG. Yeah, if they're using SVG on CSSTricks.com, I'm guessing I'm going to have to use SVG too. That's okay. Not too bad. So I need a path for where the text will be. My path is actually going to be a circle, kind of. And I say kind of because... Does the client expect IE to be working? No, not really. Well, it's kind of hard to say. It's like... it's the kind of thing where ideally it works everywhere, yes. If it doesn't, it's not great, but it's one of those sacrifice, like, trade-off things. I think maybe if we can get it working, so maybe it's just the photo in IE8 or something, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to work great, but because it's a currency, it should at least do something. But that's something I can probably sort out later, where maybe we render like a simple version of it, more complex interactive version later, that kind of thing. For just this right now, I'm going to target that 99.5 or 99.8. If I was making JS, then it'd be quite easy to do each letter by itself. Yes, that's true. That's true. And now that I look at this path thing, maybe that's harder. Maybe. Because I still don't, it's not clear to me if you can center within a path, or if you're like, if it's going to just follow that path from the left side over. So this might be a harder kind of thing. What would happen if I did a circle? I kind of want to try it. I can try it right inline here. I know this is super tiny for you to look at, but I can make it bigger. No, I can't, because the website wants to show ads, so it actually gets smaller. Anyway, so what if I take my circle from the code and use that instead as my clip path, or as my path, let's say. And I can't edit in here. I gotta go to code ban. Alright, so if I put my circle here and give it ID curve, am I not supposed to do this? I don't know. Or what if I put in a clip path? And then call this curve, whatever. I think it's working, but not really. Maybe I need to make this bigger. Nope. Okay, I just want to see like what would happen, and apparently it's not good, so I'm in way over my head with this. Yeah, leave page. I feel like there's gonna be a way to do it that's a bit more modern without splitting it up in, oh no, okay. Yeah, you know what, you're right. Because it's JavaScript, we can make like as many elements as we want. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but we can. And then we can like set the CSS of each letter. See, that's making me very nervous though, because yeah, like if you're spreading out the letters evenly, if it's kind of monospaced, we can do that. If we don't want it to be monospaced, then like that I is shorter than the N, so I don't think I want to do that. Because what'll happen is, unless I measure, I could actually do it where I'm like measuring each letter, but when we're getting into that complex amount of stuff, I bet there's probably a JavaScript library out there that does it. Let's go on npm. I don't want to like introduce a dependency, right? What the heck? npm.org? I don't want to introduce, oh no, what is going on? npmjs.org, is that it? There we go. For the third time. I don't want to introduce a dependency if I don't have to, but we can at least learn from how another one might have done it. So text circle path or something. Circle text. No, I don't want my text circled like this. Round text. I don't know. Maybe there's not. I could try this this approach. Circle type. I guess I made an actual jQuery. A jQuery plugin. Mostly I just want to see how it works. More than like... See, this looks really good actually. Even though... And it's not monospaced. This is actually really good. So like I said, I don't necessarily want to use this. I don't want to introduce jQuery and a Yeah, it's really cool. I don't want to introduce jQuery, but we can look at how they did it and learn from them, I assume. It's only 4 kilobytes plus jQuery. I don't need jQuery. Let's just look how they did it. Class probably. So they're doing math. That makes sense. Then there's all this math. There's a lot going on here, actually. Maybe I do need this library. I can at least start with it, right? I just don't want jQuery. Do I need jQuery? Not necessarily. Actually, I don't think it's a jQuery now that I actually look at it, it's not a jQuery plugin at all. Not anymore. Yeah, how about we use this circle type? And at least for now, it's small. It does what we want. It's, let's try it. So I'm going to install it here. npm install circle type. I don't think I have to do save anymore. That's automatic. And then I should be able to link it into my browser. And that, see, that's like a downside of a dependency. But like I said, I'm not going to be actually using it like this. What it'll do is import. I just can't. It'll actually do this. Circle type from circle type. But in my demo, I'm not doing that. In my demo, I'm doing this. From node modules, circle type dist. Right? So, yeah. I think we can use it now. So how do I use it? Ha! It's like the exact same API as my coin. Not exactly, but pretty close. You know, I could do it that way too, where I pass it in instead of having a render step. I just pass it in right away. Kind of like the extra render step though, because it might, I don't know. It lets me, it breaks up, it makes it a little more flexible, possibly in the future. Again, so I can make certain changes to it without needing a major version change. So I'm going to need a radius, a direction. Okay, so I think what you do is you put the text into an HTML element and then you like circularize it, if that's a word. So let's put some text in an element. Here, I guess, I don't know. I'll just use a div, I guess. And I'll give it a class of text upper. And then I'll have a text lower. And text lower, let me just copy it from the mockup. Think big, act bigger. For upper. All uppercase, but I think I'll use a CSS transform for that. And then on the bottom, 1cred-12. Like so. Sure. So what's that going to look like right now? I don't know. Let's see. It's not going to look good. It's this. So I need to, once I set the inner HTML, then I can go get these. Element dot get, let's do query selector. It looks the best right now. Do you mean it looks the best option to use this library, or this looks the best with the text in the background? I think my query selector might have a lower browser support than SVG. Yeah, the text looks great. Oh, query selector actually, no way. Query selector has wider support. It even partially works in IE8. That's mind-blowing. Cool. So there's my two text things. Then I'll do a new circle text upper. Now let's pull that out. Text upper, and then circle text lower is the other one. And will that affect it yet? Probably not. I think I have to. Let's give it a radius of, well, I know, what do I know? Oh, I don't really know. Not in pixels because, yeah, I do, but I don't. Like, we don't specify the width. We're depending on 100% or whatever. That's going to be, oh, I just realized how hard that is with text. So I'm going to need to scale the text. So it might still be easier or better to do this with SVG text, because it's just not, it's going to scale kind of awkwardly otherwise. It'll scale, I don't know, I might be able to pull it off. I'm not going to abandon this quite yet, but I'm kind of skeptical of, like, are we going to be able to make the font size the right, is it going to look right at every size? I'm not really sure. Yeah, so in my CSS, I know the circle, the inside circle. Yeah, I can probably calculate with JavaScript, I'm hoping. So the CSS small is like 66.67, whatever. It's like 2/3 of the whole thing, right? So my radius of the text is going to be a little bit more than that. But again, I don't have like, so let's put the width in here just so I can reference it there. What is it, 400 we're working with right now? Yeah. So 2/3 of 400 is like 8 divided by 3, whatever that is. 2.66. So 267. That's like the diameter, so half of that is 133-ish. Let's try that. Let's just see what that does. Nothing. Nothing. Circle text is not defined. Well, circle type. Circle type. Ha! It's there somewhere. I need to just make it like higher Z index, right? Crypto grid coin div. So the divs inside there will be, what is this? Oh, yeah, whatever. Position absolute. Z index also 2, I think. Relative. That's actually really good, like, for not having done anything yet. Let's do absolute width equals 100% top 0, something like that. We're getting closer. Okay, so I should actually address these text upper. Hold on, is this? I think the radius is a little too small because it's like, it's based on this one, right? So it's a little too, needs to be a little bit bigger. Top should be, I don't know, 10%, 5%, 8%, 7%. Pretty good. Left needs to be over a bit. I don't know. 5. Nope. 2. Yeah, and then the radius definitely needs to be bigger. I want the text to be uppercase. And I want it to be bold. And I want it to be white. And I want some text shadow of, I don't know. Am I doing this right? 0, 0, 3 pixels or something? Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, not bad. What if I make it a little more dark shadow? Not sure. Anyway, so let's make it a little bit bigger too. But that's font size is gonna have to be set by JavaScript. But let's set it here for now. Whoa. Actually, having a lot of text in there will help me position this and find a good radius, because you can see it reveals more. Let's fix the radius right now. 150, 200, 170. Getting pretty close. 166. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Sorry about the bouncy camera there. Let's go a little bit up. Yeah, I'll have to get a tripod for that camera, I think. It's pretty good. I think it needs more radius. It's coming in a little too sharp there. And I want to throw some more text in there so we can find out for sure. Yeah, so it's obviously a little bit too, I don't know, too big, I guess. Let's tinker around numbers here until it looks right. Wait, what? Didn't I already do 150? What is happening now? Oh, it's just like, I think when you have that much text in it, like breaks somehow. It like does what it thinks it needs to do. Or am I don't know. Yeah, it seems to be like that. So it's like, it does a big enough circle that all the text fits in. It's kind of helpful. I bet there's a setting. Direction. Force width might be that. Not sure. Anyway. Yeah, problems to solve, problems to solve. Let's see. I'm not in there. Get rid of this. Okay. So I definitely want it bigger than that. But now I'm like wondering. Yeah, I think I do want bigger than that. That's pretty good. Pretty good for version 1. I love that it's like already centered and stuff. I love that it's selectable text. That's so cool. I still think there might be a better solution. I think SVG might turn out to be better, but so we have a big demo of this in a couple weeks. I think for that this will be just fine. I do want to move it over slightly, or make the radius slightly smaller and then slightly move it over. So maybe this, and then left like 3%. That looks better. That looks pretty, I mean, look at it, like the selection just hugs that image. That's gotta be, I probably don't need to optimize it more than that. Let's get the bottom text working too. Most of this will apply to the bottom one too, so I'm gonna split this up so that I'll just do like a general div one that has most of it, and then the upper and lower can tweak those parameters. So most of this I want there. The Z index I want up here. The width I want up here. So it's just, in the one it's top, and the other it'll be bottom, basically. How does it look when zooming? That's an excellent question. Not bad. Not bad at all. At least in Firefox, you know. I'm more concerned with, like, what does it look like when you give it a different size than 400? And obviously the text is set, like, hard-coded at 32%, 32 pixels. So that I need to work on, but not right now. Actually, what I could do, so I could set the font size. I don't know if it's safe to be like, oh, 32 is blah percent of 400, so we'll just use that, but maybe, because fonts do kind of work like that. So how about I say width is 400. Let's try it out. What would happen if I set it to, like, you know what, let's finish the bottom text first, and then I'll worry about scaling. All right. Ooh, refreshing. Yeah, not good. So if you zoom and then refresh. Oh no, you know why? Because sorry, I got ahead of myself. Yeah, but zooming and refreshing is a problem. Why did that move over? Did I change anything there? I changed nothing. I'm so confused why this isn't perfect now. It moved over. I changed my CSS in here a bit. Yeah, something going on there. Oh, you know what it is like probably the two divs interacting, or is there a div in there that I'm not thinking of? There's the parent div, but that wouldn't be affected by it. I can just be more explicit. Because I don't know, that library might be using divs for something. Yeah, okay, that's better. Then this is pretty good, not really, but I need to do the same radius for the lower, but the other arc. Is that what dir means? I don't know. Yes. I love when that happens. I just vaguely remember something from the documentation and it works on the first try. To counterclockwise, okay. I'm so lost. Okay, here. So I need to bring this down. Let's do that with in the browser to preview. So I'd bottom at 5%. Bottom at 0 is not low enough. What is that referencing? Bottom of what? This? Why is that size? Alright, because I only set the width of it, right? So I want to... Oh, hi, Spider TV. Spider. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm just trying to position this text so that it looks right. So I think I need to stretch the container. Let's do that with CSS. We'll deal with scaling later, so I'm comfortable doing this. That's a little too low. I think I can bring it up. Remember, if you remember from earlier, there's this bit of white space below the coin inside that blue box. So I don't know if I might want to, maybe it's not a square. Maybe I need to know its ratio and like adapt it accordingly. But for right now, I'm just gonna do this. So bottom 8% looks fine. Let me type that in here. Booyah, seems to be working. Let's bring up the Do I still have it? No. I have it here. But when I was looking back and forth at the two, I think it's pretty close. So the shadow isn't really shadowy like it is here. I can work on that a little. So there's a bit of an offset. It's like down. I wonder here, like the shadow's below here and also below. Oh, you can't see over there. Also below the R. You know what I mean? It's like the light source is coming from up here. I don't think CSS Tech Shadow is going to be that clever. I think it might look a bit weird. So I'm going to try it anyway. So let's say, how do you do? I think you do like -1, -2 pixels, -2. It's like down to the left kind of thing. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's like the shadow is up here, but down here. Because it follows, the text shadow doesn't take into account the curve at all. So I don't know if I like it. It's way too sharp now too. I don't know. Do you think people would notice that? Do you think it, like if you saw this, would you be like, oh, the light source is stupid here? Or would it just look good? I don't know. What do you think? Maybe a little less offset. I think it looks pretty good. Like if you're looking up here, it looks awesome. I don't know. I think it's okay how it is. But again, I'm a perfectionist, so I don't know. Maybe it's just like one of those things. Like you just see it and you'd be like, oh, that's just the words on the coin. You wouldn't be like, oh, the shadow should be below because it's below here. I don't know. Looks decent though. I feel like there's a bit too much space right here, and that might be a property of our circle being a little bit too far over. You know, because here you have like one letter width between the circle and the edge, and here it comes a little short. So that's why it looks like a little bit over. So I think I'm gonna bump the whole thing over a little bit. Let's try that and not mess anything up too much. Left was 19.5. What if we go 18? I'm just looking here compared to here. Yeah. You know what I might do is, there's gotta be like a good measuring tool extension for Firefox. There used to be anyway. Measure it. No, not compatible with my version of Firefox, but this one is. Let's try it. Hope it's not gonna steal all my something or other. Alright, let's see. So between here, it's about 40. A little over 40, and here 47 really. To pretty close, huh? Like too close to bother changing. 46. Yeah, you know, it's fine. Then I just need to shift my text slightly over. So that was 1.5% over, and now I don't know about that. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's pretty good. I think this text maybe could come down just a tad. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. The scaling is kind of an issue still, though. Like, so I don't really want to say how big this is anywhere. I want it to be so you can kind of drop it in anywhere and it'll fill the area available. So I've been pretty good about percents everywhere. I haven't used pixels anywhere except the font size, and that needs to change. I might be able to just set the font size on, I don't need to set it on the text itself. I'll set it on the root. And I'll also not set the width and height here. I'm going to set all that stuff in JavaScript. So I think what I'll, and here I'm using pixel numbers too. So I think what I'll do is not necessarily, I can either take it in as like options. So you say like, I want, render me a coin that's 200 wide or whatever. Or I can, yeah, you know what, I think I want there to be options. We haven't even, like, there definitely will be, you need to be able to say like what image you want rendered in it. It's not always going to be that cat, for sure. So what I'm picturing is that when you create the coin, you can say like image blah blah blah, be like the URL of the coin, right? So instead of it being here, then this would be like this dot image, which doesn't exist yet, but that's where I'm going to put the settings, and that's where we're going to pull them from. So, and then this will be like specific to that page. And you know, I might even want to do that with the gold background. That's a whole other thing too, right? The different colors of these coins. Something I'm not really sure. Like maybe you just pass in a color code and then we modify the contents of this, because it's just a fill, right? It's just a hash. I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm trying to work on the scaling now. All right, let's leave the color for another time. Image. That should be cool. And then say width, and that should be like, you should be able to just say 500, let's say. Should it be width and height? Not really, because I don't want, like, it has an aspect ratio, and I don't need to support rendering like a really wide coin or a really tall coin. I think it makes sense. So maybe size instead of width. I don't know. Maybe width is, if you see width then you think you can do height, but if you don't see width, you might not think of what the parameter is. It might not be that obvious. So I think, I don't know. Let's do width. And then if you pass height, it's just going to be ignored. Okay, so what this is going to do now is I need to make a constructor. And I think the way you do constructor is like this. So it's going to get in those options. And then I just want to set like this dot image equals options dot image, this dot width equals options dot width. Then I can get rid of this. You know what? Let's pass in base too. And get it out of here. And then like that can be a problem for another day of where these are actually hosted. And then I don't actually have to do this. I can just do dot dot. Yes. And then straight up. It's not going to work, right? It's blank. Because what I need to do is change. Oh, I need that text in there too. Let's do that all at once. So upper, or like, let's think in terms of what this coin actually is. Yeah, it's like upper and lower text, but really I could give these more meaningful names. Like this is the name of the coin. This is the value, kind of. Or I can be more like generic about how this library gets used, because really I know it's a coin kind of, but I don't, like I know the assets, but I don't necessarily, like in this artwork, what I'm saying, in this artwork I know what it's going to be. I know what it's for, but later calling this the name, maybe we'll end up switching, like put the value up here, the name down here. I don't know. So I think saying just like upper and lower might be more flexible in terms of an API. So how about I name them upper and lower? Upper text, lower text. I think that'll probably be decent. Let's see. Actually, let's change the text altogether. Hello, Twitch followers. And on the lower part, it'll say, thanks for watching. How about that? This dot upper text. This dot lower text. What else do I want? What else do I want dynamic? So I need to make upper text up here. And I might want to have validation here that if you don't have certain things, it'll scream, or I can put in defaults like this, so that the width by default is 400, let's say. Image by default is, I don't know. I think you need to have an image. And base, we kind of need to have that. So I can put in like if not options.base or not options.image. Throw new error. Base and image are required. Just so, you know, if someone starts to use it, they at least get some clues of what they should be doing instead. Yeah, and so I also want to see, this is my, maybe I don't want to pass element into render, but into, I don't know. I guess I'll keep it here for now. But what I'll do is now I'll render this. Then I want to set a couple CSS properties on that root. So what I'll do is, it'll be the first child. Dot style dot width equals this dot width plus pixel, px. And which makes me think I probably want to, no, I don't know. I was going to say parse that as a float or as an integer, but if people are passing strings in there, it'll just do weird behavior. Dot style dot font size. And so we had 32 pixel font with 400. So what that means is if I take the width, divide by 400, and then multiply by 32. Is that right? No, that seems wrong. Yeah, well, so if the width is 400, it's going to be 1 times 32. If the width is 800, it's going to be 2 times 32. Yeah, that's what I want. Let's see if this works. Nope, not at all. Console errors, base is not defined. Base is not defined. Oh, this. I need to do this dot base. What? Some parts are working. Oh, I see. Element first child style is undefined. First child. Am I wrong to do that? Maybe it's first element child because I have white space. Or maybe I can just do like, let's do it a little more formally. Root equals element dot query selector crypto, that's a class. Crypto cred coin. And I'll do root here. Nope, no, just these two. Okay. Oh, my radius. So it was 170 when the width was 400. So I think I can do the same kind of trick and do this dot width divided by 400 times 170. That's actually pretty good. Like the top text is perfect. The bottom text is too high up. But it's pretty good. Like, why is that there? Oh, you know what? I should set the height to, because that's what I had to do when I was positioning the bottom. That's pretty good. My problem now is just I have too much text. So how about I simplify that? I'll just say, hello Twitch, thanks for watching. Let's try that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think like there's slight things. I think the radius needs to be a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. On the bottom, maybe just the bottom? That can't be right though. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. That's pretty good. So I also want to tweak maybe the background color. Like I think that should be a an option right away. Now, I think all I need to do is change this fill of this gold background file, and I can do that with JavaScript, I think. So first I'm just gonna try changing it to like a horrible red and see what that looks like. That's pretty good. So yeah, I think I can get away with just setting that one. Yeah, because like this white shine here is in that other one, the texture, I think. Must be. So yeah, I think I can like reach into this file and change that maybe. But maybe I have to do this more inline for me to be able to do that. If I do it inline, then I don't have to like reach into anything, right? So, you know what that's gonna change is my CSS, because I was assuming that the SVGs are these. But you know what, that's actually good. If I can embed more of it in the JavaScript, I feel better about that. So let's do this dot color equals, and then by default it'll be this gold. But you can change it. This width and height we don't need. Or do we? I don't think so. I don't think we need these ones either. But I don't want to change too much at once. It might break something. Enable background. You know what? Let's put the width and height back for now. Let's just see if this works at all, and then I can take stuff out I don't necessarily need. Okay, so my CSS, I need to give these things more names. So let's call this background and not give it an ID, because I don't want to pollute like the ID namespace. So I'll call it crypto cred coin background. Use that kind of naming style for these. I should do the same with my text upper. Maybe I just call it upper and lower. And then I'll give this one a class too. Crypto cred coin. Let's call it texture. And then this one is not SVG graphic, but crypto cred coin image. And then I can be like a little more explicit with this. So crypto cred coin texture and crypto cred coin background. This one's crypto cred coin image. And then if I change like what the markup is for those, that'd be easier. I'll make these more explicit too. And here. So it actually kind of simplified my CSS in a way by making the class names longer. Like I don't need to have hierarchy, so it's kind of simpler. I think it's easier for the browser to render if you do it this way. Not that performance is going to be a big problem with my coin, but you know. Where are we? Okay, so it looks horrible. Great. these things need to change because I changed my class name. That's part of that. And then my background needs to be a little higher up. Oh, you know what? Because I forgot I made it inline and all that. So this stuff matters now. Why don't I do... Oh, because all these numbers reference this view box. That's fine. But I don't know. I need to position it better. So let's see. There's my coin. This must be super tiny on the video. Let me make it a little bit bigger there. There's my coin. There's the background. For some reason, the background is positioned up high, but then the path is down here. You see that? So if I hover over the background, it shows a blue box where it should be, but then the path is down there. So I think what's happening is I was going to say, I think it's like drawing it inside of, like, it's shifted down. But I'm not 100% sure why. Like, if I subtract something from all the y values in here, is it going to shift back up? I don't know. Is this... Oh, I have this width and height in here. Is it really in there? I don't remember seeing it. I think it got added by, like, the browser. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm pretty sure if I change this to 100 and 100, it's going to break. Yeah. That's not important. What? Just works now. I didn't change a single thing. But you know what? The width and height are gone that were there. I don't know. I'm not going to complain. It works now. Good, because I didn't know why it was broken. Now I don't know why it's fixed. Perfect. Alright, so let's try a different color. So in my... I don't need these anymore. I can delete this gold background.svg. Or I can move it into assets because it's now more of a... What I want to say is I'm not going to be using it, but I might want to reference it. This texture is... If it wasn't so massive, I'd probably put it inline too. And I mean, you're going to download it either way. You're downloading it part of the JavaScript or part of the... Or whatever, like you have to download it anyway, so it might not be that bad to put it inline, but I'm not going to do that right now. So let's give it a color. What's a good color? Salmon, isn't that a color? Oh yeah, salmon coin. What other good colors are there? Isn't avocado or something? Avocado. Nope. But black is cool. What does white look like? Not green. What does black look like? I think we just saw it. What is red? We saw before. Yellow. Not great. Gold. The word gold. Not as nice as the default gold. Blue. I don't know, I think it's pretty good though. I think I'm going to leave it at this and wrap up the stream. It's been a lot of fun. I'm really happy how this went, and I'm glad that I got it all done. I'm really glad that you guys are watching and enjoying it, hopefully. Yeah, it's really exciting. So I'm hopefully going to do another stream soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but soon, I hope. And I will announce it here, so please follow, and you should be notified if I go live or if I plan to. You can also find me on Twitter, where I'll announce in advance my plans to go live. My at name is simply Jesse Skinner. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and hope to see you next time. So thanks for watching.